Hi, I'm Matt Simon. I'm here with fellow colleague and senior analyst Kevin McPartland. Today's topic is about trends in cloud computing. There's been a lot of talk about it, and especially the financial services arena. And I'm just curious, Kevin, what are some of the trends that you're seeing?
Well, I'm just finishing up with research that we're doing for a new study about sell-side infrastructure. And one of the topics that we covered for the study was cloud computing. Now, across the board, from the bulge bracket to mid-tier firms to some smaller firms, everybody is aware, and the majority were investigating the trend in the technology to see where it might be applicable to their business. However, very few had truly implemented a cloud computing strategy. The most common responses in terms of cloud computing were more along the software as a service line. CRM systems distributed over the web, for example, were relatively common. However, on a broader scale, looking at ways to utilize public clouds such as those provided by Amazon, for example, security continues to be a concern, and there are also regulatory concerns because we're talking about heavily regulated broker-dealer entities. But again, we're in very early stages here. There's a lot of talk about internal cloud computing, so essentially making more efficient use of servers in your own data center. And then a newer topic is to talk about hybrid clouds, where we're using an internal data center, but maybe you get to a peak period in the day where you need some extra horsepower, in which case then your environment can seamlessly look to an external cloud to get that extra compute power. So although we are in very, very early stages and the adoption in financial services is still very small, this is definitely something that we need to keep an eye on because the brokers are keeping an eye on it to see where it can best help their strategy in the next couple of years.
And so with being in the early stages and looking at some of the firms that you've talked to that have maybe started in the implementation of cloud computing, how far away are we from seeing an all-out industry upheld initiative to everyone going towards cloud computing, or will that ever happen? And what are some of the challenges to seeing that?
Well, I think one thing that we need to be aware of is that execution services, for example, and other very latency-sensitive processes are not suited to cloud computing and may never be. Cloud computing, by its very nature, because it puts a thin veneer over the top of the compute resources of the servers themselves, does introduce a little bit of latency. And especially in today's world, when we're talking about trimming off microseconds, that additional latency is absolutely too much. However, once people or the industry becomes more comfortable with the technology overall, understands that security concerns are relatively minimal or no more so than security concerns of their own data centers, I think we'll see a number of analytics processes, some middle and back office processes, reporting, some of that start to move to a cloud environment, because when it comes down to it, especially in the environment we're in today, cost is a major concern for many implementations across financial services, and people are trying to figure out how to be more efficient while spending less money, but still managing to get ahead and improve their infrastructure.
Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate that information. And again, this is Matt Simon with TABB Group and Kevin McPartland, Senior Analyst. Catch us next time on TABB TV.